Emilia was always a really determined little girl. If she wanted to know something or do something, she always managed to do it.
She's the middle child of 3. She's probably one of the more stubborn or resilient people I know, I guess. She's definitely a pretty fun person to be around.
She was in tap, dance, jazz, voice, piano, Girl Guides, all at one time. And so we did a lot of driving at that time. She always got excellent marks in school, was always really determined to try new things and work really hard.
My name is Emilia Becker. I'm 18 years old and I have a brain injury.
It was October 17th, 2006. It was going to be a really exciting day. Emilia had won a competition, so the news was coming out to the school to do an interview of her, and she was in the paper that day.
My brother, sister, and I were headed to school on the rural school bus. The bus itself was going about 90 kilometers an hour. The driver didn't appear to be slowing down at all when it blew through the yield sign and hit a 5-ton CPR rail repair truck. It actually flipped over the road and landed in the opposite ditch.
I was at work. I just found somebody else who could pack up my stuff, and I started to drive.
Emilia was actually further towards the back of the bus. When the bus hit the truck, the back end came up and she actually cleared her seat and hit the roof of the bus. And her head and shoulder hit and there were actual dents in the roof. Emilia wasn't conscious when I got to her. And it's definitely not the most fun experience for a child having to check if your brother and sister and friends are actually alive. I wouldn't wish on anybody.
It was really scary because I could hear on the news that one child had been seriously injured, and I knew the child that had been seriously injured was my child.
It's hard in ways because I don't specifically remember it. I remember being in a truck right after the accident and looking out and just seeing white and not knowing what happened and everything being really fuzzy. I was only in the hospital for 2 days. They only thought I had a concussion. They didn't think it was anything serious.
We had grandparents looking after her and friends of the family coming out to look after her, and I think it was my mom who said, something's really wrong. She can't do a craft. She's not following directions. She can't understand.
I was really dizzy. I couldn't do anything on my own. My right side was really weak.
When she walked, she was dragging her right foot and her toe was turning in, and that's where I began to think, I think this is more than a concussion.
I eventually had an MRI done. I think it was about a month after I'd already been discharged, and that did show some damage. And eventually they realized, okay, you had like moderate brain injury, more than a concussion.
Once she had the MRI in hand, it helped us a little bit to be able to get some of the help that we needed. I had to do a lot of things with her. That's when I went to work and said I need to take a leave. It's funny when you have a kid who has to relearn a lot of things, because when you learn things with your baby the first time, there's books that tell you how to do it, and there aren't books that tell you how to teach them how to run or jump the second time and how to ride a bike. So the pediatrician told us that reciprocal motion is good. So we borrowed an exercise bike and we rode an exercise bike.
Things that used to be easy had to be broken up and practiced, and you have to ask so many questions, and it's another lesson in humility. It really is, of just having to start again.
One of the things I wanted her brain to know is to remember that her right leg was there. So at night I would rub her feet, tell her brain, these feet are here, relax, relax, and massage her a lot.
I had to really get over the fact that I have an injury and I have to work at it. And if I don't work at it and keep practicing, then it's not going to get better. It doesn't matter what other people think.
The neuropsychologist recommended that Emilia only go to school for half days. She had a lot of trouble remembering a lot of things, so I made a lot of flashcards, and we learned that that worked.
I forgot all of my math. I'd practice my multiplication tables with my mom, and we came up with different skills to do them. My hardest question was 3 times 8 equals 24, because the 3 looked like a little bird beak and the 8 looked like eggs, and 24 means 2 dozen eggs, and all of that relates to chickens. So if that helps me remember, then so be it.
At 11 months post-injury, her neurologist told us to be prepared that she may never live independently. I was so frightened for her and what the future would be for her, and I thought I had lost her forever, and it hurt a lot. Her principal said to me, you have to let go of that person, and you have to just accept the Emilia you have now. And I realized actually that's what we always have to do as parents, is not try and hang on to the kid we used to have, but keep watching them grow and change and emerge and move forward. And that made a really big difference for me.
Eventually, I was able to go back to school full time. I actually was in things like competitions, and I started to get back involved. And I made new friends that accepted me. And I really started to feel more like myself eventually. I started to gain back my sense of humor, and at least if I didn't feel like the old Emilia that I read in my journals, then at least I felt like I'd gained a new sense of self.
Emilia's really very fortunate because she's really had a wonderful recovery. Part of that is because it wasn't as severe a brain injury as some other people might experience. But also I think a lot of it was because of the support that she had.
How do you feel about yourself when you get on the airplane and you come back home?
Emilia's doing great now. She's at the University of Victoria. She's living away from home and living independently. She's excited to be meeting lots of new people. She's finding her way around a strange city, and I'm so proud of her.
The thing that gives me the most hope is that they've discovered the brain can change itself. They call this neuroplasticity. People can relearn and regain some of the things that the brain injury has taken away from them.
She's been taking art therapy to help people with any kind of injury or needing rehabilitation to recuperate. She's very funny, fun-loving. She's a very strong person. I'm very proud of Emilia and the steps she's taken in her recovery. It's definitely nothing shy of incredible.
After finding different activities and trying out what I like and don't like, I've found things like ultimate frisbee that I just adore.
I think one of the hardest things about brain injury is that when you see somebody with a brain injury you don't know, and you have no idea the kinds of things that they have to be doing just to be functioning the way everybody else around them is functioning. Emilia says, I sometimes wish I had a cast on my head or a scar that would show that so people could be a little more patient.
I'm still trying to figure out how to memorize things on a daily basis. I'm putting things into my phone, I'm using my agenda.
She's a bright girl who understands her injury, and she's smart enough to look for ways to overcome those challenges, and there's just a remarkable resilience that I see.
I do feel more like myself, if that is such a thing, because I'm never going to be that old Emilia again. That Emilia is gone. And I can't mourn her. She's not coming back. I just have to embrace the one that I have.